Hello friends, my name is Sarang and this video is about the serverless applications. So if you're building the serverless application in AWS, you might be aware about the SAM CLI, which is used for the local development of serverless application as well as testing and debugging the apps. Okay, so now this AWS has announcing the public preview of SAM CLI, which you can leverage to do the local testing and debugging of your serverless app using Terraform as well. So you might be knowing that both AWS and Terraform are open source framework for building the application using IAC, and previously we would be using the SAM CLI to build, test, debug the application defined using SAM templates or the CDK. Now what you can do is you can use the SAM CLI to test debug serverless application defined using Terraform configuration. Okay, so previously used to add the template or used to do it through the CDK. Now you can do it with Terraform configuration as well. Okay, so this is the blog of AWS where they have given the example using the AWS services like API Gateway, Lambda and DynamoDB. You can go through this blog. I will just add it in the video description. So in this video what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the local testing and debugging of the AWS Lambda, okay, using SAM CLI and Terraform. Okay, so we will be only building the Terraform configuration, and then we will use this Terraform configuration along with the SAM CLI to locally test the Lambda and as well as debug. Okay, so we'll be building the Lambda using Golang. So let's get started. So before we start with the code or the configuration, we have to first check whether we have required tools to get started. So make sure you have the Go in your machine if you want to build the Lambda with Golang. So I'm using 18th Go version. Okay, also you need to have the AWS CLI in your machine. So you can check the AWS CLI using this version command. Okay, and you also need to have the SAM installed in your machine. Okay, and make sure in the configure you configure at least one profile. Okay, so okay, let me just write it again. Configure list. Okay, I have one profile set up over here. You also need to have Terraform in your machine. Okay, and as well as Docker, and you also need a make tool, because this will be used under the hood by the SAM CLI to make the template and for execution of your code. Okay, so this is make 3.81. I have it right now. Okay, now let me walk you through the Lambda code, which is developed using the Golang. So I have one project with the name AWS Lambda local test SAM Terraform. In that src folder I have a file called main.go. So this is my main file where I have written a very basic Lambda. Okay, I have two structs. So one is request, another one is response. These two structs I'm using in the Lambda handler, and I'm just returning the response with the full name property, where I'm appending the first name and the last name from the request what the user will send. Okay, so this is how the request would look like. Okay, and this is not a Lambda proxy integration, it's a normal Lambda, so I don't have to add any other properties over here. Okay, and let me walk you through the Terraform configuration. So here you need to have the resource with the AWS Lambda function, because you need to tell the SAM CLI where your handlers runtimes are, right? And also while deploying you would require this particular resource. Okay, so here I have the Lambda function resource with the handler runtime, the name of the function, and the role, the timeout. Okay, and also since we are going to use this main.tf configuration to locally test the Lambda and build the Lambda, you need to have one resource called null resource with the SAM metadata resource, where the SAM CLI, while building the project, it will use this particular resource to find the zip file and find the source code. Okay, so you, in this particular resource, you need to have the resource name as same as this resource. Okay, and the resource type would be zip lambda function. Okay, so when we are deploying, we need to deploy the zip file of the lambda code, and also while testing the lambda locally, we also need the zip file of the source code. So this resource type is going to be zip lambda function, and the path of the source code and the path of the build output. So this path I'm getting it from the variables.tf file. So here I have written the lambda build path, which is going to be a build folder, and the name of the zip file is same as the project name, and the source path is nothing but my src folder. Okay, so here I have to provide all these details. Okay, and this particular data will help me to zip the lambda code. So it will take the main executable from the bin folder. Since we are using the lambda, we have built the lambda using Golang, so we need to have the exe file of the code. So I have to provide where the exe would be. So it will be under the build folder, and the output path would be our result would be the zip folder, the zip file that will be located on the particular build path, and that is our build folder. Okay, and the name of the lambda zip file would be this one. Okay, hope you have understand this particular configuration. So this particular resource would be needed for local testing and debugging. This would be required for zip the lambda code, and this would be required while you're deploying and also running the lambda function. Okay, so this is a very basic setup I have done over here. So now the first thing that you need to do is you need to build the lambda, okay, using SAM. So let me open the terminal. So to build the project, I will use SAM build. I will provide the hook name Terraform. Okay, so previously while building the code using SAM build, we used to provide the template, but now we have not created a template, and we are not gonna provide that into this command, since we are using the Terraform to build this particular project. So we have to inform SAM that the hook name is Terraform. So that's what I have written here, and we also have to pass this particular flag as a beta feature, since this particular is not a general release, so we have to add this particular flag. Okay, so let's execute this. So now what SAM will do is it will build the project using this this particular Terraform configuration. Okay, and yeah, so it will take a couple of minutes to build it, so let's wait for it. So this particular SAM build will, under the hood, it will run the Terraform init and Terraform plan command. Okay, so it has run the init command. It is successful. Now it is running the Terraform plan one and getting the JSON output. Okay, so here I've got a issue saying that there is no particular building folder with this main executable. So what I have to do is I have to go to my src. I have to write go build, and I have to give the output as bin/main and build the project. Okay, so this will particular command will create the executable with the name main. So you can see it has created over here. Let me clear, let me go back and again run the same command, that is SAM build. Okay, the key point over here is we have not written the SAM template, and we have not provided that in the argument over here. So we have just written that we have to do it with the Terraform. Okay, so it is generating the meta files and all these things. So it has also created the AWS SAM folder There is also a provider file where I have written the we need require AWS provider over here. Okay. So the first time it will take some time, so let's wait. So you could see that zip has been created with this name, and I think the build has been succeeded. So as you can see in the SAM build, the null resource with the SAM metadata resource has been utilized to find the source code and the zip file. Okay, the build has been succeeded. So let's use this particular build, okay, that we have done just now, and let's test the lambda locally. Just let's run the lambda locally. Okay, so make sure your Docker is up and running. So the command for that is sam local invoke. Sorry. Okay, here we have to provide AWS lambda function dot. We just have to give the name of the lambda that we have written here. Okay, and the lambda also expects the event, so I'll just write event slash demo.json. Okay, under the hood, the SAM would use the Docker to run the code. I think this particular there is a typo, so let me correct it to JSON. So you know the code has been mounted inside the container, and we got the result as full name dev problems. So as you can see in the event file, I had a first name dev problems and the last name is problems, so it has written the full name as dev problems. And you can also see the log has been printed over here. So in the code I have also written the log over here. Okay, so now what we have done is we have built the project and we have tested the code locally using SAM CLI, and along with the configuration that we have written in the Terraform. Okay, so now it's time to debug the application. So before you deploy the application to the AWS, you find some issue, you can just debug the application here like this. So just add the breakpoint over here. Okay, and now we have to just write the launch.json file. Since we are doing in the VS Code, so we have to create one launch.json. So in that configuration we have to add the type as go. If it's Python, we have to write here Python, and the request would be attached. Mode is remote because we are going to debug using the Docker, so it should be remote, and we have to give the port. So here I have given this port number. Okay, and one more thing you have to do is to debug the go in the VS Code, you need to have one dependency. So what we're going to do is we're going to download the dependency now. Okay, so whatever we're going to do right now, it's not related to SAM CLI and Terraform. It is because the Go expects a few executables for debugging, so we will just download that executables, and then we can start debugging. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to write go get github.com go delve and cmd/dlv. Okay, so it is downloading this particular thing from the GitHub repo. So it has downloaded. Now what you have to do is you have to write go build. You have to output it in dev/dlv. Okay, and you have to write again that same thing. So github.com/go delve cmd dlv. Okay, so this particular executable that we are creating would be required to debug the Go code, okay, in the VS Code. So you need this particular executable. So let's wait for it to build. Okay, as you can see, there is a folder created over here with the del, and there is the executable dlv. So now what you have to do is, since we have added this particular into our go.mod file, so this things is no longer required. So what we have to do is go mod tidy. Okay, so this particular thing that we have downloaded has been added in the go.mod file. Okay, so I have just removed those dependency, and I have just one dependency called lambda go. Okay, since we have already created the build, now this particular dependency is no longer needed. So let's come back to the main directory, and now what we're gonna do is we're gonna debug the lambda code. Okay, using that SAM now. So SAM local invoke, the command would be same, this one. So here we have to add -d, give the port. The port should be same what you have written over here, and also we have to use this particular executable for debugging. Okay, without this the go lambda function will not be debugged. Okay, so you have to write debugger path, and this would be your del and dlv, and we have to write debug args. The debug args would be your del API 2. Okay, okay, so you have to write the /. Okay, should be a directory with the debugger in it. Okay, so you just have to remove this particular thing, because that's the file that we need. So we have to exclude, and it will use this particular directory. Okay, so now the debugging has been created. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to go to this particular debugger in the VS Code, and I have to just click on this attach to SAM CLI. This is the same name. Okay, as you can see now, it is highlighted, means I'm inside the debugger mode, and I can step over and I can continue my debugging here. Okay, hope so you have understood how to build the lambda code using SAM, how to run it using SAM Terraform, and how to also debug using SAM Terraform. So hope you like this. It was about the Terraform and the SAM CLI. Okay, so I'll close this. Now one more thing I would like to show you is we can also do the local invocation using the AWS CLI. So here it says another test is to run the local emulation of Lambda service using this particular command. So let's execute this command. Let me clear. Okay, so what this command is going to do is it will start the Lambda at particular endpoint, which is HTTP localhost 3001. So it has started in this particular host. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this first. Let me again create a new terminal. Okay, so I can invoke this particular Lambda using this particular endpoint using the AWS CLI. So I'll copy this. Okay, here I have to make changes, like the file event name is demo, and the output is raw in base 64 out, and it will be, the response will be stored in response.json, and I have to change this particular resource name. I have to replace it with the one that I have written in this particular file. Okay, and other things looks fine, and this is the same host that this particular lambda is present. Okay, now I'm gonna press enter. So this is the way that you can also invoke the lambda using AWS CLI. Okay, first you have to use this particular command. I missed this particular command is the SAM local start lambda. It will run the lambda in this particular endpoint. Okay, and using the SAM CLI command you can invoke the lambda. Okay, so this requires no Docker. Okay, it just required AWS CLI. So here I would see the response. Response.json is, yeah, here. So here I got the response, full name dev problems. Okay, hope you like the video, and this is a beta feature right now, and hope so they do the general release as soon as possible, and the process that I have run through will remain same. There would be only changes in the commands. Okay, as you can see that in the build I have used this beta feature because it requires this particular flag for now. When they do the general release, maybe this will be removed and the other things would be remain same. Okay, and thank you for watching, and do subscribe, and this particular information or the code is present in my repo, and that is present in the video description. Okay, thank you, and have a great day.